The question on everybody's lips, are the boys back?
It's probably the best episode of The Boys I've seen in a good long while.
It's a massive improvement over season 4 for sure. Episode 1, I wasn't fully on board.
Yeah.
It was just a weird 1 year later so that they could like spin their wheels. They were like, oh, we'll use this as a status quo reset. But by the end of the episode, all that was done. It kind of felt more like a, hey, please forget about season 4, which I will gladly do.
Yeah, because when I went over our summary video, I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing with Frenchie. Oh yeah, Starlight didn't have her powers for that whole season.
Very true.
Like, things that were very prevalent and important. I mean, I know it's like, oh, well, all that happened before and it's not important now, but Hughie goes through a lot of stuff that season. Dad dying, he's almost kind of like sexually abused by his favourite superhero.
Yep, his girlfriend is someone else, yeah.
And now it's been 1 year, wipe the slate clean.
He's got his confidence back. They're like,
Yeah.
look at this. He was flirting with a girl, kind of, but he's also a hero again. Bada bing, bada boom. This is what we're doing now. Also, Gen V Season 2 doesn't really matter.
No, I didn't even finish it, and I thought I'd be way out of it, but just some line about Godolkin, who probably failed in whatever his plan was and died.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
basically, you could probably skip Season 4 and Gen V Season 2, and you can be pretty much caught up with the previously ons and, like, ready to go. But episodes 2 and 3, it feels like we're moving. We're going somewhere. We have a goal, we have a virus, and we have a plan.
Soldier Boy's back.
Yeah.
We're actually doing things, and you might say, well, this is all a bit on the nose, and is it really this bad? But then that's the point of satire, and the point of all this is you maybe have to scream it very loud with Homelander youth camps, and hey, it should be illegal for people to do memes about me, so let's round them all up. We're told tens of thousands of people who've tweeted a defamatory thing about Homelander or posted a positive thing about Starlight are now basically terrorists. Mm-hmm. And which is insane, but then and you might go, well, that would never happen. But then that's the point of this, is that there's a lot of things we thought would never happen that are currently happening.
Yeah.
So we might as well go. It's kind of, I guess South Park's the equivalent you'd bring up.
And we've set up a ridiculous world, so we can do ridiculous things in it.
Yeah, so you got to turn it up to 11 a little bit.
It's not like Daredevil where like it's a mostly normal world and they're doing these crazy things in it, so it feels weirder, whereas here it's already pretty ridiculous, so they can get away with a lot of stuff. And in a lot of ways, the real world has caught up to the show, not the show copying the real world, and that's why it's kind of like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I think they've said stuff like this before, I think, of like things that have already happened in the real world that they're like, oh, God.
Yeah, the director, I think, came out and apologized for a certain episode because he's like, something just happened in the real world that we made fun of like 2 years ago when we filmed it. I'm sorry.
There is a whole, what's her name? Jessica Chastain. She had a whole Apple TV series that got cancelled because it was about an assassination on a college campus. That's gone. Stranger than fiction situations, I guess, you know. Well, episode 3 is the most I feel has happened for. A lot actually has happened. I mean, we get introduced to Stan Edgar, and by the end, he's in a so now we introduced him, he's now in Homelanders. We get Homelander's son's back, and now he's like, we actually got what for some shows would have been 2 or 3 episodes worth of story put into one episode, and I thought it was all the better for it. Yeah. I felt like every scene was actually worth watching.
Yeah.
I wasn't really bored at all, and
it comes from also like they had the plan of like, and it seems like a pretty solid plan because they've got the virus. Butcher is ready to die along with Ryan as long as they take Homelander with them. So they go to do that, but then other stuff happens which foils that plan, and it all feels like it kind of blends and is realistic.
Well, I was saying to you, like, oh, how is it Soldier Boy survived? Is it because it's not as deadly? And the reveal is that he's an older strand of V. Those who are lucky enough to survive kind of get everything awesome. Like, he can't age, which is good because Jensen Ackles seems to not be able to age. Like, he's like, what, 50? Looks better than me. It's revealed that, yes, they are immortal, can't age, and immune to the virus. And Homelander's like, oh, well, I'm his son, and like Stormfront was kind of my mum, so I'm fine, right? Like, no, you're just garden variety V.
Yeah, you've got all your dad's genes, just the V, it doesn't go intravenously.
You got it pumped into you.
Yeah, you just had all the stuff that let it work.
So Homelander's going through this crisis because it's been there before, like, he's getting old, and he doesn't like that. You know, his dad says to him, yeah, you're in charge now, but eventually you're going to be in the retirement home, and I'm still going to be looking like this, and I'll run the fucking 7.
Yeah, and this is also something they've been playing at for a while, because I think it's season 2 or 3, he's finding grey hairs. And that's why it was such a shock that Stormfront was so old, because we didn't know Supes could live forever.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay. And then it's like, so it all makes sense and is congruent, and that's why it feels like it's actually working for me.
Yes, it's very interesting. And what is cool with Homelander is now Homelander had this weird vision in his desperation. Like, we haven't seen any really mirror, which his reflection version comes from because he was always in a cage, right? That he basically made his reflection his friend.
Yeah, I assume so. And also just crazy.
It's just a way to show craziness.
Yeah. So Homelander finally cracks and he gets a vision, and out of the heavens comes Madeline, and then she opens up her bosom to him and says, "You are the chosen one, and you will subscribe to the channel."
Subscribe. And he's like, yes, it all makes sense now.
And then for some reason that gives him the idea to get V1. That's his plan now. I like giving him a plan because it also stops him from going after the boys. Because it's the whole thing of like, why isn't our ultra powerful character killing these literal just guys? And we can now be like, oh, he's focused on getting V1. Like all of his resources are now on V1.
And if he can live forever, then he'll just outlive the boys.
Yeah.
No worries.
He'll be immune to the virus. They can't touch him. He'll live forever. This is a good plan for him. And he's like, put every single one on
And
it.
I like that this was the driving force for everyone. They want to know if V1 exists because he's going to go for it.
Because they have to beat him to it.
Yeah, there's a few little like issues of she's the world's smartest woman. And it's not that she's got a great memory. It's that I'm pretty sure she says a line back in season 4 that if she wanted to, she could fix the energy crisis, cure cancer. So I'm surprised he isn't going to her. We're going to get all the research and you're going to recreate V1 because you're that clever.
I think he does say that they're going to do it, but yeah, I guess she can't.
Or doesn't want to.
We complained about it a lot in our season 4 video as well, is that Sister Sage, you should pretty much never make a character the smartest character, because that's super hard to write for.
Yeah.
And just opens yourself up to a bunch of bullshit. Because you can either do the dumb thing. You can do Sherlock, where you're like, haha, I knew that all along.
It's something you can't think about, but if you were that smart, that every time you have a conversation with someone, you're imagining the 10 other things they're about to say because you're that clever, you can predict what they're going to say next, basically.
Yeah.
Then why does she come across so, like, fairly normal? Yeah. You think she would be quite robotic or emotionless because it's all boring to her. It's all maths.
Yeah.
So he wants to pump himself with that, even though it's dangerous, because he thinks it won't happen. He thinks...
But if Daddy can take it, he can take it.
He can take it, and he wants to not die. And so he says that weird thing to his son at the end where he's like, I want you to fill my boots, but no worries, you're off the hook because I'm going to live forever, so I'm going to just do my own legacy, which weirdly sounds kind of nice. Like, he delivers it really well. Like, he delivers it like... No stress. I'm not going to die anymore, so it's fine.
He's basically reached enlightenment. Like, he's cracked so hard that he legitimately believes he is Jesus and will live forever.
Yeah.
And he's like, so if no one can do me harm, why should I be bothered by my son betraying me?
There's no stress anymore. I shouldn't worry.
Jesus forgives everyone. I'll do it as well.
Yeah, and his whole vision of, she says, like, kill everyone and only your believers will remain.
Which is one thing I like, that he always has this need for approval, which has made him not murder everyone. But it kind of feels like we should have gotten to that point by now, because the boys are doing what they're doing to stop the big bad Homelander evil guy now. But it kind of feels like they're lacking direction. Maybe we're not seeing enough of the actual problems in the street. Like, we've seen a couple of people get rounded up.
This has been the problem in the last 2 seasons, is we're not really getting the sense of the world.
Yeah, like we're in a bunker this episode, or we're in an empty Homelander store.
It's like in Daredevil, even though Daredevil was primarily in New York, a lot of this is in New York too. And season 1 was mainly in New York, and you were on the streets, walking around. There was that sense of place.
Because you were like saving people. And then there's like they were doing rallies in the political season 3.
And you're just seeing things like, translucence on Jimmy Fallon and stuff like that, like that makes it feel where it's like it's all very stripped down, where the only TV shows we're seeing is in their own studio and they aren't doing their jobs anymore. Like in those first few seasons, it was like we're on set of a movie. Like they're not saving people anymore because, it's became very just endgame plot stuff now.
Yeah.
Is where we are.
Which I get, because this is the final season. They have said that, and we're going to culminate, and we're almost halfway through the season already.
Yeah.
So it's like we're doing stuff, but it really does, I do agree. It feels like the world has shrunk a lot, where it feels like the ramifications for the world should be big.
What's Homelander's foreign policy? Does he allow the president to do all that and he's just simply the puppet president? Homelander's actually in charge.
Yeah.
And probably intends to be in charge forever. He will control every president.
And it kind of does feel like maybe we should have had him be president already, like for the climax, because it feels like he's finally going to reach his like ultimate evil potential, and then the show has to end and they have to beat him. Like, it does kind of feel like he could take over the world maybe, and it would be a little bit more dramatic, and we'd get less bunkers, we'd get more people on the street fearing. We did have a little bit of the camp in episode 1, but it's
all the Hughie stuff that's happening, like where he sees Translucent's kid, and that gets resolved in this whole episode.
Explosively.
They got a lot in this hour. Like, a lot of things got introduced and dealt with.
And Hughie isn't just getting shit on constantly, which I enjoy. Like, Hughie had a bit more agency this episode because he was dealing with the regrets of his past. He did blow up Translucent, and he didn't love it back then, but obviously that had to get sidelined pretty quick because he was doing espionage. He was doing crazy shit. Whereas now, he can kind of take things a bit slower, and meeting like the sun, even though he's invisible. There's a really good shot where we're slowly dollying in for like dramatic.
Not there.
Yeah, and there's no one there. It's just a hand doing this, and it's just so dramatic. And then we get the one tear. I just really enjoyed that. I thought it was really clever.
What was it? No cap on guard, bro. Like, I never get tired of the deep shtick. I should do by now. As my theory is, I know he probably will die, but I truly, part of me thinks he's just gonna. It's the Donald Glover meme from Community. He will turn up with the pizza and everyone's on fire.
Yeah.
Like, he will simply just somehow be out the way when everything's happening.
I wouldn't be shocked if he does survive everything just because the marketing team loves him so much, because like he's marketing gold. You can do a podcast, like they're releasing actual like 15 minutes of him and
That's hilarious.
him and Noir just talking. Like Starlight's not bullying Hughie anymore. They're actually like back together. She does have a little panic. She loves to have a little panic. Once everything's calmed down, she's like, and then runs away because she doesn't want Hughie to die because Hughie almost died.
They did a good job with that, where Translucent's kid gets exploded by the explodey person.
Yes.
And for a second, she thinks it's Hughie who got done, but he's like, no, it was Translucent's kid.
Yes.
The kid I've been stressing about all day.
What an unfortunate power to like just explode the thing in front of you, even if there's something else in front of it.
Yeah.
But again, it worked quite well, and it didn't revolve around raping Hughie, to be honest, which was way too much of season 4.
Yeah, exactly.
And even just not doing that and making Hughie a character again, I'm like, thank you. Like, that's really helped. It's not the season 1 boys. I'm not like back into it and loving it.
It's because we went beyond the concept of the show. The concept initially was, we're going to hunt down superheroes, and there wasn't really more than just causing chaos.
Yeah.
But now, and like as we've said lots of times, this is one of those rare occasions where being off books for the best. I don't know anyone who's read The Boys, or if they have read The Boys, likes The Boys. The comic seems just mean-spirited.
It's juvenile,
Juvenile. Like, all the characters aren't like what this is. So everything you like about the characters have come from the show.
Yeah. Another thing, I guess, is season 1 had a bit of mystery about what was going to happen and what each character is doing and like who certain people are, and like even season 2 with like Stormfront, like she had that. Gen V had a really good mystery for season 1, crap one for 2, but whatever. But this one, I guess, doesn't have a mystery. Like, we kind of know where all the pieces are because they're all so close to the finish line.
Yes.
The only thing I guess that they've introduced is that Noir doesn't talk again. Do we think that's a thing? Has he had his tongue torn out?
I did like that theory that it was Ryan until this episode.
Until about 3 minutes in,
Ryan.
and they're like,
because
Ryan?
it would have made sense, because in the book, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander, so it would have been a cool way to go, it's been his son.
Yeah, especially because they were vaguely like, oh, he's at boarding school. Oh, he's in Russia. Turns out he actually was in Russia.
Yeah, and he was fucking him up. And obviously we get some good stuff with Soldier Boy, the back and forth between them. Soldier Boy is a fun thing with Firecracker, where it's the first time she's real for a while. Like, she's post-sex, like, no, he hasn't had sex. It's like, that's what gets me with because we don't know exactly what happened with Ryan's mum. There's so many times where he doesn't come across as someone who is into physical sex.
But he could have also been trying it, like, because he's a crazy person, basically.
So the fact that they keep that ambiguous and he is insisting that he did not do that. I know he would obviously insist that.
But he comes across genuine as well, even though he could be lying because it's Ryan. But like, I think they're treading that line quite well, where like, we'll probably never know, and I hope we never know.
Because is it because it's just cheap? Like, yeah, of course we're going to hate the rapist.
Yeah, especially because that's the initial crime. Like, that's the original sin. This whole show happens because of that sexual encounter, and it hinges entirely on, if he raped her, Butcher is correct in killing all these people. Whereas if he didn't, then yes, Homelander's still awful in so many other ways. But like, Butcher shouldn't care as much as he does.
I guess it's clearing the board slightly. The Doctor and his daughter destroy the stuff and are like, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Peace. and Kimiko and Frenchie so happy. I can only assume Frenchie's going to go at some
Something
point.
bad has to happen.
Like it just feels too nice at this point. And they're talking about kids. I like the Kimiko speaking now, and now the joke is that she's just been watching a lot of porn, so a lot of her has came from that, so lots of swearing and simple language.
I will say it's still very cheap on the childish humor a lot of the time. Like, I feel like season 1 was a good balance, but like nowadays, Starlight says, wow, this is like a bunch of dicks on an echidna, but all the echidna spikes are dicks. I'm like, what?
Yes, like pop culturally, we've maybe, at least I feel like, personally, maybe I've moved on. That the boys' shtick maybe hit more when Avengers Endgame was just coming out.
I think Herogasm peaked.
Yeah.
And now we just have a guy beating people to death with a big penis. And it's like,
You know, like all things, it just, the joke's been worn thin. It's like, what if superheroes were a bit gross? And it's like, we saw this with the mini guy climbing inside of his his boyfriend's
Season
dick.
4. Yep.
In season 1, A-Train's former girlfriend crushes the guy's head. We've done it.
Yes.
And that's great.
And we've done it for 5 seasons.
And now here we are doing it again. And it, even for me, maybe because I'm just getting a bit older, it is a little bit like, ugh.
Shows usually reinvent themselves.
And then
a lot of modern shows don't reinvent themselves. And they're just like, this is the villain. We're going to do 5 seasons trying to get this one villain. He's going to get away each time. Even Harry Potter. Harry Potter 1 and 4 are Voldemort. 2 is kind of Voldemort, but it's Tom Riddle, so it's a bit different.
3,
he doesn't even rock up.
Yeah.
Even Harry Potter had the sense to like not just be like, it's Voldemort again.
Yeah.
Like, because that would get old. And this one, Daredevil, a lot of other things, it's the same bad guy for 5 seasons. I'm tired, boss.
2 of them are Trump allegories, yes.
On the same day. Every Wednesday, I get my 2 Trump allegory shows.
You want to die for this planet? Fine! What's 17 more years? I can always start again.
I'm amazed they didn't do it, like, at least have Homelander go, think, Ryan. Like, I think that would have made sense to have that in there. Think, Ryan, it's not going to win for you or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very Omni-Man, like, you know.
100%.
It's an interesting thing going in, because at this point, Sarge Boy's just kind of hanging out, which I guess if you were an immortal, hard-to-kill person, you would just kind of hang out. Because you're like, yeah, I'll wait a few decades and then I'll be in charge.
Like you said, he's just going to shit on people's chests and he'll be happy.
Yeah, exactly, because I mean, if you did live forever, your perspective on things would change quite dramatically, so it makes sense. But it ends with Starlight flying away, and Stan Eggers is now under Homelander's supervision, because now, obviously, where's V?
Yeah, they're going to move towards V1 a lot more heavily.
And then there was the very MM and Stan Eggers have a conversation. Stan's like, as soon as you get rid of superheroes, the corporate machine, like, in the wheel will never stop turning.
We'll do AI.
Yeah, we'll just do something else. And he's like, you son of a bitch, you ain't going to get back at Vought. He goes, we all got plans. He goes, well, I'm going to put a fucking bullet through your skull. Anti-capitalist, completely understand that that's the point, is that the fight's never over. You know, like, we're just not around long enough to notice that the patterns continue. We're only here for 80 years.
Yeah, and usually they're not just outright murdering people in the street. They're sneakier than that.
Exactly. So I think going forward, I can only hope and imagine it's just going to get more and more focused.
I think I might be more excited as well because it's the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to just end.
So now they can actually end it and not worry about
whether they wrap it up
continuing
good or
things.
bad, it's going to wrap up. I'm not going to get some shitty little thing at the end.
But are we done with the boys' universe, or are they wanting to do...
I'm sure Gen V might get a season 3, but like, the boys should end everything, I guess. Soldier Boy's getting a spin-off.
But then isn't that kind of the irony? Because early on, they were mocking this, where they had the Vought Plus presentation and our Vought universe. I didn't give a shit that A-Train died, really. I felt like, I know some people will, but it's a weird character. Considering he was the impetus for everything, that he's now had this major redemptive arc. I mean, once again, I think we're just clearing the board. And also, I guess it's good to just have a speedster off the board.
It was a cool death, and I like the way he laughed in his face, and how he died because he didn't want to recreate Hughie's girlfriend. But he was too OP. You just can't have him.
That's it. That's the problem with speedsters in general. But I always felt that he was moving at a speed that was, at least he was actually propelling quite fast. But then in that episode, it's like, I know they're like kinetic heat beams.
It's Days of Future Past.
He had a Days of Future Past where he managed to move around while the lasers were leaving the eyes of Homelander, which show that he's very fucking quick, actually.
It actually really pissed me off because he takes so long to save MM in a dumb way, only to then get hit by the lasers. Like, my man, prioritize. Save Hughie, then go do dumb shit.
But yeah, it was a good moment to have, and I guess it's meant to be one of those we're in the end game now. Some main characters are going.
Yeah. We're going to start actually killing people, which I would love more people to die.
I think surely Butcher has to go. Like, there's no way he's walking out. at the
He's
end of
suicidal
this.
anyway, so it'll be a good death, and I think it'll just...
I think that's a complaint. Is that it's just the same Butcher shit is occurring again with Ryan. Bring him in. I'm actually just a bring him back in. I'm not a I actually am really, really a this time. It's like, yeah, we've done this game before. We're here. We did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. It's why I'm glad it's over. I'm over Butcher, to be honest. He's not
I think
that
so, yeah.
interesting.
It's that ending is getting it done.
It's good. It's fine. I'm enjoying it.
Unsure if I like it because season 4 just lowered my expectations so much, or whether it's actually like moving and I'm liking it. What do you think? It's obviously better than season 4, but is it actually good, or have we just lowered our standards too much? Let us know down below.
There's not much superhero fights in my superhero. There's not much superhero shit in my superhero show, is there? And powers and what have you.